truly before now, I didn't really know what actually a mouthpiece was designed for, other than to keep you from clinking your teeth together or biting your tongue. I had no idea that it was to align your jaw. The season that we did not use the Power Plus, we lost 4 kids, 2 that were season-ending concussions, and obviously we contributed to the Power Plus mouth guard because, like I said, we've not had one since we've been using them. Obviously, we've competed a lot better than what we did last year. We have not had a concussion this season. Obviously, a tremendous factor for us for not losing kids, and their performance level is a lot higher as well. My son was actually the quarterback on the second state championship team, but one of the things that he was able to do as being the quarterback, the mouth guard was on the lower part of his bite, so he was able to speak clearly. And that's a huge thing in athletics, is to be able to communicate.
Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. So like and subscribe and check us out.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.live.
Welcome, everyone, to the Beast from the East show, sponsored by Power Plus Mouth Guards. It's your boy, Brett Swinney here. And it's week 12 by-district round games coming up, fellas. And we're already to that time as playoffs are here, and we got some games to pick today. How's everybody doing today?
Good day. I'm happy.
Yeah. Call it Assault Monday.
I don't know how you guys are feeling, but last week's Pick'em Challenge, and we'll talk about that tonight on our wrap-up show, but it was a rough struggle, guys. I don't know what the teams were drinking. I don't know if just teams didn't prepare. Teams just were upset.
Not drinking anything. The high school kids.
I'm just saying maybe they drank some bad milk or something, because it was an interesting week. Some games that we thought were locks for the Pick'em Challenge. They went the other way. It was almost a CM special type week, except for Corey. You didn't go with that. You didn't go that route this week.
I picked safe. I really actually picked safe this past week. I really did. And boy, look, we'll talk about it on the wrap up show later on. We'll talk about
Yeah, safe wasn't safe this week, and we'll talk about it. But the playoffs are here. We've got bi-district games coming up this week. Games starting on Thursday this week, so make sure you get your picks in by Thursday. They'll be going up on Tuesday morning. They'll already be available when this show comes out. So make sure you get those in for this week. I'm excited about this week. I mean, it's playoff time. It's the gold ball season, as you call it, and we've got some really good games this week to open up the pick'em season, I guess, for the playoff edition of it. Guys, first game in our pick'em challenge this week. Honestly, this one was really tough for me. We got Jefferson and Pottsboro, and we've talked about both of these teams this season. We thought a few weeks ago Jefferson would be celebrating the district championship. Tatum had other ideas. And then we talked about Pottsboro. You know, them and Winsboro were fighting it out for district a few weeks ago. And we were like, okay, that was probably their toughest game. They'll go 9-1. And they just lose a stunning game to Mount Vernon, who seems to all of a sudden has gotten on a roll. So both teams coming in a little, I guess, seated a little lower. I thought this might be a 1 versus 2 game. And now we've got it a 2 versus 3 first round matchup. Not one I thought would be a first round matchup. I'm going to we got a special guest this evening, guys. Y'all don't know the special guest or that we were having one. And we're going to let him pick first.
What's up, everybody? Here are my bi-district round picks, guaranteed 10-0. Let's get to it. Jefferson and Pottsboro. I think this is going to be a really good matchup. I'm excited for this one. Jefferson, they're only got 2 losses on the year, 1 to Timpson and 1 to Tatum. The Tatum loss is I'm not surprised that Tatum beat them. I picked Jefferson to beat Tatum, but that loss kind of surprised me. But then they bounced back against Sabine and got a good win. And Pottsboro, man, they just got beat by Mount Vernon. That surprised me. I feel like Jefferson's defense is a little better than Pottsboro, so I'm going to take the Jefferson Bulldogs over the Pottsboro Cardinals in the.
All right, so our KO couldn't be with us tonight, but he recorded his picks to make sure that we knew who was going to win this week. He went with Jefferson. I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going with Pottsboro in this one, guys. I just think Pottsboro has really challenged themselves in their pre-district schedule, minus the Mount Vernon one that scratches my head a little bit, that last game. And, of course, Winsboro, we know how good they are. That's the only 2 losses on the season for them. I just think that, I think that district, we've looked at it. I'm just not so sure about how good Jefferson is coming out of that district. And so I'm going to go with Pottsboro to get the win.
Mm-hmm.
Christian, go ahead. You can go up.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Go for it.
Yes.
Okay. This is kind of a tough one for me too, because our special guest is right. Jefferson does have a good defense, especially their secondary, the way they've been playing all year long. Right now, I just think it's Pottsboro for me, because I think when you look at Pottsboro, their offense is really explosive. And they've been pretty much picking defenses apart all year very slowly. So I just think that Pottsboro has the edge. But I will say this. If Pottsboro can't run the ball like they're supposed to, they're going to lose this game.
Yeah, Major McBride's going to need a big night.
Yeah, if they don't run the ball like they're supposed to, they're going to lose this game. But I think that Pottsboro has the edge here.
I'm going with Jefferson. Throughout the year, a lot of times, except for some other picks, but I think Jefferson's strong, and that district kind of prepared them for the playoffs. And I think this is Jefferson's time to get a. Pottsboro has been dominant in the past few years, and so is Jefferson. But I think this is going to be a dogfight. In the playoffs, defense carries and defense travels as well. So you always stick with the team that plays the best defense in the playoffs, and you go with Jefferson.
I like Jefferson a lot. I've been picking Jefferson quite a bit this year. Well, whenever we had him, um, they let me down against Tatum, which kind of concerns me. But I think I'm gonna go with Pottsboro on this one.
All right. All right. Let's see who KO's got in the next one.
In the second game, we got Garrison and Jewett Leon. I guess that's how you say them. I don't really know, but easy pick. Give me Garrison.
All right.
Okay.
So Kyle's going with Garrison. Alex will be doing this game. Myself and Jeremy will be traveling down to the historic Tomato Bowl in Jacksonville for this one on Thursday night to call this one. I just look at the schedule that Garrison has played. The only loss on it is to Timpson by 9 points. We all know how good Timpson is. And they've beaten some teams on their schedule. They dominate ARP. We know ARP is pretty good this year. They're not outstanding, but I think they're pretty good. They've beaten everybody on their schedule pretty handily. They've won 72-0, 48-20, 26-0, 63-12. A lot of things. What I really see on there is I see you guys were talking about defense. Garrison has a pretty good defense. They only allowed Timpson to score 35. I know that sounds like a lot, but you know how high-powered their offense is. So I'm going to go with Garrison this one. I think they win. I think that I don't think it's close. I think they control the game early and just dominate Leon. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna go. Wow. I'm gonna go Garrison.
On spot.
I'm gonna go Garrison.
I mean, I'm going Garrison, obviously. Like Corey said earlier, defense travels. I've been picking defenses all year, so yeah, there's no need to pick against them. But regardless to who I pick, it's playoffs and anybody can show up at any time. So, I know Leon, they don't look favorable up front on paper, but they might come out and smack Garrison in the mouth. I have no idea. That's why I love the playoffs so much. So maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I'm just, for the sake of the points, I got to go with Garrison.
So to be exact, Leon, anytime I go to the way to Austin, you always pass through Buffalo, you pass through Leon.
Yeah.
And so Leon's a small. I didn't think they were a 3A school district, but they are. But nonetheless, decent basketball team. I'm not picking against the East Texas team like that. Y'all know where I'm going. Garrison's been playing some good football. It's still in the same tough district as well. You're in those districts for a reason. Those teams play tough, and like I said, defense trap, especially in the playoffs. You gotta dial it up in the playoffs. So I think it's going to be the better defense against an offense. So I'm picking Garrison in this game.
Okay.
Garrison's also played a tougher schedule, should I say?
All right. Let's KO. Who you got in this next one?
They were undefeated till they played Timpson last week. Played Timpson extremely close. So, yeah, give me the Garrison Bulldogs. Gilmer and Center. This is going to be a good one. By the way, it is the Red Zone game of the week. Gilmer and Center, Friday night in Hallsville. I'll be at that one, but this is going to be an offensive showcase. Basketball game on turf, Friday night in Hallsville. Gilmer averages over 50 points a game. Center averages over 50 points a game. Both defenses are struggling this season, but I will say Gilmer's defense has been playing better as of late. They gave up 12 points to Liberty Ilo, 12 points to North Lamar, 13 to Spring Hill, and held Pittsburgh to 6. So I'm impressed with how Gilmer's defense has been playing as of late, and because of that, give me the Gilmer Buckeyes over the Center Rough Riders.
All right, so Kyle's going with Gilmer. I agree with him. I love the Center Rough Riders. but I just don't know that their defense has not shown up. We talked about the offense. I know Gilmer doesn't have much, but KO made a great point. If you look at the schedule here lately, they have kind of tightened it up. Now, I think the teams they've tightened up against aren't center. So do I think they'll give up more points? Yes, I think it'll be a shootout, but I think Gilmer's just going to take care of business. They're Gilmer. And unfortunately for our friends down south, maybe center wins, and I'd be happy with if center won. But for Pickham's sake, I've got to go who I think is going to win, and that is the Gilmer Buckeyes to take this one.
Listen, a lot of people have some high praise for Gilmer, especially after last year, because they were like, okay, maybe if they would have gotten, and I'm just relating to what was said earlier in the year. A lot of people think that they would have had some momentum going if they would have beat Chapel Hill. And listen, I know center, their defense as of late hasn't been really, really good. But guess what? Gilmer's defense in big game situations is not good either. So now, obviously, I love Tariq Tate. I mean, he's averaging 100 yards per game. I love Will Henderson, who's averaging 175 yards per game, I think. And, I like Caden Tennyson. I think he's, right now, I just don't think that outside that's the only really good weapon that he has is Tariq Tate. But Gilmer, we're forgetting center's offense is really, really good. I mean, the only issue that I have with the defense is that I don't. Their defense really doesn't impress me that much, but I think it would be enough to beat Gilmer. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that center will beat Gilmer. And by the way, where is that game? Where will that game be played? By the way,
Mr. KO Kylo just told us it will be in Hallsville.
Oh, center beat
Gilmer. Red zone game of the week.
Okay. Oh. Wow. All right, but yeah, I got center. I got center beating Gilmer.
So I don't think, Christian, that people are forgetting that center has a good offense. I think they're looking at the glaring holes on defense that has cost them multiple games now, and in a very odd fashion. It's weird. As much as I want to say Gilmer, and I even wrote down Gilmer, in district, center has played a tougher schedule. And when you look at center's district, how many districts can you look at and see practically every team is over 500, at 500 or north of 500? Gilmer's district is not like that at all, which makes you question, well, okay, if they're playing below average people in district, is that the reason a defense starting to tighten up? It's hard to really say. That's the truth. It's hard to say. But
I think you're on to something there, Vince. I agree.
It's looking at, like, I can't blame center for the fact that they had to play Rusk, Van, Carthage, Brownsboro, and Bullard.
So what about Gilmer? I think their pre-district schedule though kind of balanced it out.
Yes and no. I'm gonna tell you why.
You got PG. You put PG in the district, so you got that game. You got Chapel Hill, Kilgore, and Lindale. Paris is not bad. They're better than what we think because they've.
But here's the argument, though. We're talking about as of late what their defense have done. Yeah. So when I talk about as of late, I'm looking at everything south of PG, and PG is the only team. Yeah. PG is the only team north of 500. All the rest of them are you got North Lamar, who is at 500. Whereas when you go look at center, I think Brownsboro was the only one that was at 500. Everybody else was north of it. So, and then you got to think Van, tough defense. Carthage, tough defense. Bullard, I didn't get a chance to see Bullard, but from the numbers, it looked like Bullard had a little bit. Yeah. So my question is, like, I get what you're saying, though, Brett. The talent that they had to play early on should outweigh on the schedule. But I'm not thinking about overall, I'm looking at the last 5 games and what they have accomplished in the last 5 games, and who played who had a difficult time to get through those last 5. Pleasant Grove, PG, absolutely. They top everybody except for Carthage on Center's schedule, right? But after the PG win, I mean, you could almost look at the rest of these games and be like, yeah, these were all walkthroughs. These was practices. This was scrimmages.
So does that mean they got to rest some guys? They come in a little healthier. They weren't as banged up.
Yeah.
I mean,
You got lots of ways you can look at it.
yeah, because
I really
you're
think-
looking
I
at
really
Liberty, and I hate to say this because I like Liberty Allo, I really do, but they 3-6, and you came in and you didn't give them nothing but 12. I mean, I'm pretty sure the game stopped in the third quarter. You know,
Who was hyping up Liberty Allo before the year was going? I never.
I'm just saying.
Anyway.
I know. I like the Liberty
They had a
Allo.
good- they had a good
Don't get me
season
wrong,
last
I'm on that. Yeah,
I
was on
kind
that.
of. I kind of.
Yeah, I think everybody was kind of on the Liberty Allo
I
wave.
did.
So I'm kind of
They had a good season last year.
confused by it. You
it
know,
was Eddie's fault. We'll blame Eddie.
I was a little
That's
confused
why I
by
can't
it.
listen to Eddie.
So, man, paperwork
I don't know.
is
You could
telling me
flip-
go with
You
Center.
can flip a
So-
coin on this one, and you'd be
so,
right.
So no. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you the pick, Vince. I'm gonna help you out. Okay.
But the name that's on Gilmer, that's on Gilmer's name, make me say you go with Gilmer.
So here's what's happening. Center's not gonna win this game. Center's probably gonna get beat by 21, 28 points. I'm gonna tell you why.
Whoa.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
Woo.
Oh,
There's three
God.
reasons why.
Bold statement.
Hold on.
Okay.
Bold
Corey,
statement.
Corey, this phone call's
Listen.
from you. Mr. Shires, the counselor, he's on the phone. And he wants to argue
Listen.
that debate.
Listen. I can't. We've given Center multiple chances. Y'all know we are a favorites of Center. We've given Center multiple chances. Unless something miraculous happens in this game, Gilmer has gotten better progressively throughout the season. Okay, you're looking at the scores. I'm looking at who they played
Can
and
I
who
ask
they
you a
beat.
question though? Can I ask you a question though before you finish that? Swap these schedules and see if you feel the same way about that. I feel like if you gave Center Gilmer's schedule, they would have beat everybody in district but PG. They would have probably blew out everybody in district but PG.
They probably would have been 5-5.
Unfortunately, they got a 6-4 Rusk, a 7-3 Van, a 10-0 Carthage, a 6-4 Bullard.
But Gilmer did that too. So what's that mean? Like if you switch the schedules, you saying that Gilmer and Center?
I don't think they blew out any of them
put it to you
teams.
like this.
I don't think that.
I'm putting it to you like this. Gilmer's played literally Chapel Kilgore, Lindale, Pleasant Grove. All four of those teams are somewhere in the top 20 in respective in the state. I'm just throwing it out there. Those are all playoff. Those are all 10-win teams.
Okay.
Or second round playoff teams. All right. Let's just go ahead and put that out there. Center doesn't have a chance against any four of those teams thus far.
Harris is also a playoff.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now. Oh, go ahead, Vince. Sorry, Corey. Go ahead, Corey.
But I'm gonna say this though. I'm saying it's not a knock against Center. I think Center is a good football team. I think it will be a very good competitive game for a little bit. Gilmer doesn't hurt themselves. They are 7-3. They lost against three of probably the state's best 3 football teams in Class 4A. And the rest of those games, the rest of those teams they beat. They barely beat Linden.
But again,
okay,
you're telling me that they progressively got better. Where? Because the teams they played progressively got worse.
They can't control
That's
who's in
what
their
I'm
district.
saying. You're right. You can't. I'm not faulting them. I'm not faulting them. But I gotta give some type of credit to Center. Right?
I'm not saying Center. I'm not okay. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna say where Center falls off. I'm gonna tell you Center falls off. Center had a perfectly good opportunity to beat Van. What did they do against Van? Well, when the quarterback was out, what did they do?
But again, what I'm saying is that
what they do? What they do now?
Okay,
starting quarterback is out.
So
starting quarterback is out. You had a perfect good opportunity to win that football game. What'd you do?
But what I'm telling you is that what they had to face with Van is a tough defense, right? Whereas show me a defense over there in their district that they had to face that was like that, outside of naming PG? Because I'll tell you this: if we want to look at the strength of it, PG and Carthage will cancel each other out. Now look at the next 4 games and tell me who had the harder schedule.
Okay, Sweeney. Before you go, I will say this. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you this now.
I'm just playing devil's advocate because again, I wrote down Gilmer, but my argument is still for center.
Okay.
Listen, Vince, I'm telling you right now, don't you do that. What do your eyes
I'll be honest with you. I might, my pick may change by tomorrow morning.
Okay, Gilmer. Vincent,
I don't know.
Pick Gilmer.
Okay,
I wrote it down. I wrote down Gilmer. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm gonna help y'all out. Listen, y'all both make. Lord, I love hearing y'all argue with each other about these games because it is just a funny thing to see. It's probably better than seeing Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless argue with each other, but I mean that's discussion for another day. Anyway, listen, I understand, with the schedules and everything like that, but I'm just gonna show y'all a little quick, stat here. And this is not on Max Preps. This is on Dave Campbell Texas Football. It actually took me a while to find this.
Okay.
This is what Gilmer has given up: 71, 24, 40, 56, 62, 63. After all that, even though they gave up only 12 to Liberty Isle, 12 to North Lamar, 12 to Spring Hill, they're still one of the worst defenses in 4A Division II.
But worse than center.
But center is bad.
They're still one of
center is bad.
In fact,
there's the worst defense,
center is bad.
And then there's levels below the center.
Here's what I'm gonna say though. I'm not shooting at Gilmer with that. I say this, but I haven't watched a lot of Gilmer recent games. So I don't know how bad their defense really is versus the games I did get a chance to see with center.
Here's the thing. Just playoff wise, who's better? And this team that I'm finna bring up was in the state championship game, but they don't have a good enough defense either. You know who's ahead of them? Who has right now? Gilmer, just in the playoffs, just in this region, right now they have the worst defense. Just in that little bracket right here that I'm seeing. You know who has a better defense than them? Wimberley. Wimberley is the worst defense in the 4A division. The 4A division 2 between Region 3 and Region 4.
I'm gonna ask this. Go ahead. Finish. I want to ask one question.
So in between that, they have the worst defense, but Gilmer is trailing right behind them. What I'm saying is that their defense is the problem. It's okay. It's kind of like how we talked. Like,
you think Gilmer's defense is worse than center's?
No chance. Did you see that? Did you?
No. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Did you see
what? In my opinion, no.
Tatum put up 60 on them week 1, and I mean that's when it started. We realized that was going to be. They've given up points out the gazoo. I know you're talking about Gilmer, but center, they've given up 63, 20. That was a Spring Hill, 57, 21 to Dangerfield. That was the anomaly there. I don't know what they did in that game. The second half, they were able to shut them out. 34 to Canton, which we're not sure how good Canton is. 48 to Rusk, 56 to Van, 72 to Carthage, 33 to Bullard, 21 to Brownsboro. I mean, they've given up at least 20 points every game. There's no 12, there's no 13, and there's still some weaker teams. I know Vince is saying that their district is stronger, but at the bottom, you're telling me that these teams are all better than the teams left in that district? There's no way. I mean,
that's what I'm gonna ask you. No, I'm looking at the district. When did they district start? Rusk?
Canton was Center's first game.
Oh, yeah, Center.
Canton was the first game.
Yeah.
Okay. Canton is the worst team in their district.
They gave up 34 points to Canton.
As we thought they were. I think Brownsboro probably worse.
Well, in Brownsboro, yeah, they gave up 21 to Brownsboro. I mean, you could have thrown it like we figured out that Bullard, Brownsboro, depending on who showed up, Bullard, Brownsboro, Canton, they were all kind of the same. I mean, they,
Bullard's
But
head
the
and
weird
shoulders
thing is,
above those other teams. They just
well,
let
they
something
were,
go.
but they
Anyway.
couldn't finish. They couldn't finish the game. That was their problem.
but see, the weird thing though,
Anyway.
think about what you're saying, and then Brownsboro beat Bullet. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They beat up on each other. They all beat up on each other. Brownsboro's not bad. They just they all packed in a district together.
So let's go.
And I'm not saying they great. I'm not saying they great. I'm just saying that they're.
Take a stroll back. Let's take a stroll back in time.
Okay.
2011 state championship team, Chapel Hill. Okay, you remember what their district was like? It was
the District of Doom, right?
No, not that year. They won.
That wasn't the year they won.
No.
Okay, I thought that was the District.
They were
of Doom
absolute
year.
garbage. They had so many injuries that year.
Okay,
everybody was hurt, and they just rolled through district. They had no competition in district at all, and they still were able to make a run. So I mean, just because your district's not good doesn't mean you can't do something. I don't think it means you're worse.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. But I can't just see it be one-sided to Gilmer, is what I'm saying, because of what
I just think that
the gauntlet that Center had to go through.
I don't think that their schedules are that much different as far as difficulty. I just think that Center's schedule was more difficult during district play, and then Gilmer's was more pre-district was tougher, minus the
but would you rather have the difficulty happen in the beginning or at the end?
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, you have to play the schedule. I mean, they might have been better.
This is what happened. This is what happens. Gilmer knew their district wasn't going to be favorable when it was already favorable, right? So what they do? They planned ahead. They planned a difficult preseason, and so they're like, we're probably going to breeze through district minus one team. We already know that, so we can't control that.
Like I said, I wrote down Gilmer. I'm just
making
making an argument for.
I mean, Gilmer could have been let's pad our record. We could have been let's schedule Canton, Brownsboro. Let's schedule Canton, Brownsboro, and I don't know, somebody else that's not real good. Let's schedule Athens or somebody that they can beat, And then they could have been 9-1 going in. Are we talking about them differently? We're like, oh well, Gilmer's good. They're 9-1. They only lost to Pleasant Grove. I think to me, a Gilmer that's 7-3 that challenged themselves looks better to me than a team that's 9-1 hadn't played anybody except for Pleasant Grove. Right, me, Corey? What do you think about that?
We'll end it at this. So, are you going to pick a 7-3 Alabama or a 7-3 Colorado?
Because the name, you're going to pick Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama's got a pedigree. You know exactly what Alabama's doing. I don't care who they play, it doesn't matter. You picking 7-3 Colorado? No, better yet. You picking a 7-3 Alabama or a 7-3 USC?
I mean, you'd have
Ain't
to put
no way
the record,
USC beating Alabama.
You'd have to put the record really low. You'd have to put it'd have to be like a 3-7 Alabama versus one. Then maybe they're having a rough year, but that
you gonna bet you looking at Alabama. They got to go through the SEC. Doesn't matter who they play in the preseason. But it's still Alabama. It is Alabama. You know USC schedule is a pancake schedule. They don't play anybody.
You got him on that one, Vince.
This is the best Pac-12 conference has been in 20 years.
But my point is about to make. Okay, if you want to say that Gilmer is Alabama, I don't feel like Center is no USC. Center is more like
I know that.
Center is
more like Center's more like if Gilmer's Alabama, Center is probably LSU.
No.
Center is probably LSU. But we go back. But again, we go back 4 or 5 weeks, and we were sitting there raving how great they were. But then they
I'll give you
district.
I'll give you Tulane.
I think we said from the beginning, guys. We said Center's going to be really good if they can stop somebody. We said that from the very beginning of the year. We knew their offense was really good, but can they make stops when they need to? And so far, against really good teams, they have not been able to. So I think that's what it comes. I mean, again, I could see Gilmer winning this, Center winning this game if it goes right. If they get if Gilmer
I don't see
makes
Center
mistakes,
win this game, period.
Gilmer doesn't normally make mistakes, but they are high school students. if they make some mistakes and give center an opportunity, I could see them winning. But I think when it comes down to it, I want to pick the team that I think is going to win.
That's what I'm getting at. That part right there. Can you see center pulling this off? Because I think I can see them doing it. I can see them keeping up with Gilmer.
I give them a 20 or 30% chance to win this game.
Because again, when you think about both defenses being bad, then now we're talking about a shootout, right?
This is what I'm saying. I don't think Gilmer's defense is that bad. They played a very.
I can't call it. I can't call it. So I'm gonna listen to what
I don't look at numbers.
I'm listening to what Christian said.
I'm not looking at numbers.
I see it. But I want to talk to whoever did see it, so I can better understand it.
Here's the thing. Right now, I mean, they're both in the top 10 worst defenses in
I don't know why,
Division II.
but I feel like if KO was here, he might agree with me on this. Somebody call KO real quick and see what he say.
KO's frozen. He doesn't know what to say.
Somebody call him real quick, see what he say. KO will be like, "I'm with you, Vince."
I'm gonna tell you something right now. If you bring up stats, if you bring up stats when you talk about the playoffs, I don't want to hear it. Because I don't care if you're 10-0 or 3-7. Man, if you're playing your best football and you hot, I'm rocking with you.
I quit.
Throwing all the numbers out the window.
I held them up on what? Let's pick 3. Go ahead and go to the next one.
Speaking of KO, let's go see what he's got to say now.
Next game, Chapel Hill versus Little Cypress Mauriceville. Chapel Hill, man, tough loss last week against Kilgore. We were all there. We saw it. It was a really good game, but Kilgore was a little too much for Chapel Hill that night. I think Chapel Hill bounces back this week, and they take down Little Cypress Mauriceville. All
right, so KO's got the Bulldogs. Yeah, I think he's right. I mean, we saw what Kilgore was last week, and Chapel Hill has got a lot to work on in the next 3 to 4 weeks if they think they want to get another piece of Kilgore. 1 week at a time. They got to win. They got to win 1-0 this week. I think they go down to Nacogdoches Friday night and take care of business. I don't think it's close. I think they take care of LCM with no problem and move on to round 2.
You know what? I'm gonna let Corey go. Go ahead and go, man. Go ahead and go. I'm trying to be nice. Just go ahead and go, man.
They better win. That's all I'm saying. They better win. Listen, I'm gonna say something. We all watched the football game. I went back home, and I probably didn't go to sleep maybe by 2 o'clock in the morning. And it wasn't because of the game. I was watching TV, and I was just thinking, I was like, man, you know what happened this past game? We'll get into that in depth, you know, a little bit later on today. But the number one thing I thought about, I was said, man, you know what? Whoever plays Chapel Hill next week, they got to punch them in the mouth. I mean, you gotta square your fist up. And listen, I'm not talking about as in physically harming someone, but I'm talking about in a general sense, right? You gotta just smack them. Don't give them a towel or nothing. Just not watch it, and just boom. That's what they have to do. Because I haven't seen a Chapel Hill team this year play like they're pissed off. And I'm going to use that language tonight because I want them to listen. If they listen, I want them to hear it. Play like somebody stole your lunch money. Play like somebody called your mama fat and she just lost all this weight. Play like somebody took your Christmas gifts from under your tree, and it was an Xbox 5, it was a PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 6. Play like you just got a brand new car and your ex-girlfriend Akita. Play that pissed off. That's how you need to play for the next 6 weeks. Defensively. And then the rest will take care of itself. Mind you, I said defensively. And the rest will take care of itself. That's all I'm going to say.
So I'm assuming that you're picking Chapel Hill there, Corey.
What's picking Chapel Hill? I ain't picking anybody over there. CH over everybody. Dallas Cowboys, Chapel Hill play. I'm picking Chapel Hill and the rest.
I knew that. Vince, you want to go next because I'm gonna go last.
I mean, I don't know. I don't see why you even asked this game because everybody on this panel is about to pick Chapel Hill. Look at my boy right here. He done stepped in the room. What was you at a minute ago, Jeremy? They was all jumping on me. What was you
I don't do all that.
Listen,
Jeremy picking center.
just my spidey sense. I knew they was getting on Vince. I didn't know what was going on. What were they on you for, Vince? What was it?
Vince,
did you deserve
okay,
it?
I was trying to.
Just overthinking. He was overthinking
Yeah,
again.
go ahead and tell them why you were trying to defend.
I was trying to defend
He
center.
was trying to defend.
Everybody
center over
gave
Gilmer.
center no chance to win this game.
First off,
against
I
Gilmer.
gave them a chance. I gave them a chance. I just told
Hey,
them, I said,
Christian,
they have.
here's the thing about Christian. Let me tell you about Christian real quick. And he do this on the slide. Sometimes he'll give you a compliment and then he'll turn around and backtrack it real
Yeah.
smooth.
That's
Yeah, he
most-
do that a lot. So
that's
he
most-
tried to give Center a compliment, then turned around and talk bad about him.
That's most Alabama fans, though, Vince. So
Wow.
Hey,
I've been gone for a while, boys. I'm ready to go.
He
don't
fired
make me
up.
call Coach Meeks.
But let me ask you this, Vince: who picked Gilmer to beat Center? Are you the only one who picked Center to win?
So I wrote down Gilmer originally, and then I started looking at schedules and the points, exchanged between the two. And I'm looking at Center, and I'm like, man, Center's district was a lot tougher to me.
Yeah, it was.
Nobody. Okay, thank you. So, and I'm looking
We
at
didn't argue that.
Gilmer's
None of us said that was tough, that we were disagreeing with
the
that.
comment came out that Gilmer's defense has progressively gotten better, and I said it looks like their opponents progressively got worse.
Yeah, look at who they're playing.
And so outside of PG, everybody else was a scrimmage practically. So
Pretty
then I'm
much.
thinking, all right, well, who would arguably be ready in a situation like this? The team who has played tougher competition, or the team that kind of just had a few, walkthroughs.
Team who's gotten better, or the team who's gotten better every week.
You can't say they got better when
You
they
know-
playing. I don't want to keep saying it because I don't want to
Don't look at
disrespect
the
nobody
score.
on
Don't
their
look at the
schedule.
score.
I don't want to
Don't look
disrespect
at the
nobody on their
score.
schedule because I don't need no coach looking me up.
Listen. It's
I
5 weeks
got
of
your back.
experience. It's 5 weeks of experience they've gotten. That's all
Yeah.
of what that's 5 to 50, 25 days of practice that they've gotten plus a game day. You know what I'm saying? I guess my math was off.
I mean,
Maybe
you look
25.
at-
but
I'm
you
not
whatever.
I'm not saying that Center is just gonna walk through this.
You-
I'm not saying they just gonna beat them or whatever. I'm just saying I don't see how
Okay,
I
Vince.
could just say that Gilmer just has this in the bag.
Let me help you out, Vince. And
That's
maybe
all.
you already said all this, and I'm just gonna help you out here. I'm looking
Go
at
ahead.
Gilmer's schedule. They played Chapel Hill, good team. They lost by 18. They lost to Kilgore, good team. They beat a bad Paris team.
First 2
Lindale.
weeks.
Now Lindale's a good win
Now,
now.
Jeremy, Paris made the playoffs. Don't
Yeah,
forget.
but there's a lot of. I saw a team today that was 2-8 and made the playoffs. That doesn't matter. Lindale's a good win now, right? At the time, Lindale was still trying to figure it out, right? They couldn't play defense at the time. They've gotten a lot better. Okay. Walnut Grove, bad team. They got blown out by Pleasant Grove. They beat a bad Liberty Allo team, a bad North Lamar team, a bad Spring Hill team, a bad Pittsburgh team. I'm going with Center. I'm riding with you, Vince. Center's going to win the game.
That's all I was getting at.
Wow.
Center's going to win the game. Center's
right.
gone against Carthage,
There he
Van,
is.
Rusk. Who else? Tatum,
Yeah.
Dangerfield.
Brownsboro. Yeah.
Give-
I like they
Nah, give
they
me
just had to
Center.
go through.
See, I'm gonna let y'all in on something.
Mm-hmm.
It's basketball season. A lot of times if you've been coaching basketball, eventually, because I've been a manager before, they put that lacquer on the court that real thin. So if you breathe that stuff real heavy, sometimes it affects
guy.
you. It affects you a little bit.
This
I don't know. This could be it, Jeremy. I don't.
I just think when you look across the field and you got Gilmer out there, that means something. And so
I'm not even disagreeing with you because
they've been
again,
in-
when I heard
they've been in-
Gilmer, my ears
Yeah.
perked up.
they've been in big games. They know how to win. They're not going to make mistakes. They're well coached. They've got all that stuff. And I hope Center wins. I mean, we love Center. They're one of our schools. I just don't know if they can
That'd be
stop
big
anybody.
for 'em.
Like I know
That'd be big
Gilmer's
for 'em.
not great, but Center's defense is like it's got holes in it, like enough to drive a car through sometimes.
Swiss cheese.
And stuff.
And I didn't think Gilmer's defense was bad until Christian said it. So I felt like Christian knew something I
Gave up
didn't.
56
So-
points to a
They're the
backup
worst.
quarterback, and all they
They're
did
the
was run the
worst.
football.
Yeah.
They're the
What is the
second
deal?
worst
That's bad
defense
enough.
in 4A Division II right now.
It's going to be in the.
They're
See, I got to market with each other now.
They're the worst defense. They're the second worst defense behind Wimberley. And Wimberley went to the state championship last year. I don't know what the heck is wrong with Wimberley right now. I don't know how they
don't play anybody. They don't play anybody down there.
And I don't even agree with these rankings that I'm seeing right now. I don't even agree with it.
So,
but I'm just saying. But let's carry on.
We'll lose every time.
That's why they rank.
Put the rankings away.
Technically, Jeremy, we were on the Chapel Hill LCM game when you entered the fray here. I don't know that I
think everybody picked Chapel Hill, right?
Who do you have here?
I hadn't picked it.
I got Chapel Hill.
It's a Chapel Hill win. I mean, here's the thing. Here's what's going to happen. Either they got woken up by what happened last week, or it's going to be basketball season. And my guess is, knowing Coach Reardon, it's going to wake up. And here's the thing, LCM. I mean, I know historically they got a great coach. You know, he took us. He was at 6A Beaumont United or Westbrook rather, and came to LCM. He left to come there. I think he's a great coach. I think he does a lot of good things, but they play in an area that the football is just not great. And I don't think they see what Chapel Hill has seen with Kilgore and Center and all those, you know, even the teams in that district, right, like Palestine. I mean, if you were to take Palestine and go put them in that district, Palestine may win it. I mean, it's just a different level of football at that class. I'm not going to say it's that way everywhere, but I think in this class it is.
Wait. Hold on a second. You're saying that Palestine could beat Lumberton?
I don't know. I mean, Christian, I'm just saying LCM's playing a bunch of teams. Palestine is not a playoff team in that district, and they would be in that district.
Okay.
That's what he's saying. They would.
I was just asking a question.
Who cares about Lumberton anyway? Whatever.
Okay. All right. Listen. I thank all of y'all for going. I thank all of y'all for going before me because y'all already know how upset I was Friday. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. Listen. Yeah. If they don't wake up, they're going get the carts out with the basketballs ready. Because Friday was awful.
Listen, Christian. Save that energy for Wednesday.
Yeah.
We need that for Wednesday.
Yeah,
we just want to know who you pick.
Yeah, let's not worry about that Wednesday tonight.
All right, sorry.
What we got?
I'm still trying.
I got a soliloquy. Boy.
Listen,
so
talking real bad.
Chapel Hill's gonna win this game. How much? I think by 14 points.
Okay.
By 14 points.
I mean,
to be honest,
better be 14-0 then.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, just so you can catch up, we had that. The first game was Pottsboro and Jefferson. Who you got?
Man,
that's a good one, right?
Football game.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. That game we thought a few weeks ago that Jefferson would probably win the district. Pottsboro was second, and now it's the second and third place matchup, round one.
Man, I got to go with Jefferson. Pottsboro scares me a little bit, man. When you look at how they played in the district, I mean, they had that close game with Mineola. I say close. I mean, it was closer than it should have been. But I think I'm going to go with Jefferson, man. The athletes went out early on. Okay.
And then the game we'll be calling, Jeremy, Jefferson and Jewett-Leon.
Garrison and Jewett-Leon, but definitely Garrison. Definitely Garrison. And by the way, what a loaded bracket Region 3 is in that class. It is absolutely loaded. You're gonna get Garrison and Beckville next week. That's nuts. Second round, Garrison Beckville.
I'm gonna try to find that one. Maybe it'll be Thursday night again.
I hope so.
All right, so let's go for our next pick. Let's throw it up to our special guest here, KO.
Vernon and Gladewater. These two teams can't get away from each other. It seems like they play.
Oh,
you cut it short.
That was
we lost our man. Hold on, I can get him back. Don't worry. He'll be back here in just a second. We'll bring him back. We'll have to just find where he was here.
There, we saw it. It was a really good game, but get away from each other. It seems like they play each other every year in some sport. It's mostly girls basketball. These two teams meet up in the playoffs. Now they play in football quite often in the playoffs as well. Mount Vernon, Gladewater. Mount Vernon got that big win over Pottsboro last week. Losses to Winsboro, Mineola, and Sabine. That's interesting. But Gladewater had a really tough non-district, went 0-6. They won 3 district games and got into the playoffs. I don't know, man. This is going to be an interesting one. Give me Mount Vernon, though, just because I think Mount Vernon has the better football team. Even though Gladewater's played a really tough schedule, I think Mount Vernon's got the better football team.
All right. So KO is going with Mount Vernon. Looking at this game, listen, we talked about Gladewater 2 or 3 weeks ago. We wondered if they were going to beat Sabine. We wondered if they would be playing White Oak to actually win a game, and now they're in the playoffs. Mount Vernon's got a big win. They're obviously, I think they're improving. We talked a little bit about they were young and they're trying to get some guys in the right spots. I think they're peaking at the right time. So give me Mount Vernon in this one.
I'm gonna go with Mount Vernon. I just think that right now I just don't see. I really don't know how to describe it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say Mount Vernon.
Okay.
Corey?
You know what? Y'all disrespecting Gladewater. I'm not gonna let y'all get away with it.
Okay.
All right. It's not about who's the best team. It's about who's playing the best football right now. Gladewater's playing the best football at this point in time. I'm not knocking nobody else. I like Mount Vernon, but this is a perfect upset. This if there was an upset to be anywhere else, this is a perfect upset. Because you know what? Nobody's gonna pick Gladewater, as you can possibly tell right now. Nobody's picking Gladewater. And if you're the Gladewater,
but you feel like. Can I ask you a question?
In Gladewater because they're not going to win.
But can I ask you a question, Corey? Is Mount Vernon not playing their best football right now?
They're coming off the biggest win of the season.
Yeah, they coming off a big win.
Okay,
big win.
Here's who Gladewater's beat.
How did Gladewater start? How did Gladewater start this year?
They lost to Mount Vernon already in this year, 42-26, week 2
at home.
They started? They started at 42-26 at home, right? You know how hard it is to beat two teams twice, beat the same team twice. Right,
unless you get beat down, then it's a little easier.
No, it don't matter. But still,
let me just tell you some of the teams that Gladewater's play, Corey. Dangerfield, okay, that's a good loss.
But this is what I'm saying though.
Spring Hill. They lost to Spring Hill. Okay.
I said, who's playing their best football right now?
Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon is. Right. They beat White Oak. That's not. I mean, Jeremy can tell you how good White Oak is.
Easy.
They beat Commerce.
I can't say anything.
And they beat Atlanta. How good is Atlanta, Jeremy?
Better than White Oak.
But no, that's all he can say about that.
But here's the thing: they're not as good as Pottsboro or Commerce, in my opinion. Right? Like, to me, beating Pottsboro, beating Commerce, who Commerce a few weeks ago was, 6-0 before they got to the heart of the district play? Man, I can't get over it.
I'm just saying it could be, don't overlook Gladewater at this point.
No,
I feel you. It's playoff time. Everybody got to show up, right? I feel you on that.
Let me say that. Let me say that to be exact. They've gotten better. Don't overlook Gladewater. And I'm picking them for an upset. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Now that's what I wanted to hear. You picking them for the upset.
That's fine. Upset special for Corey.
I think it's going to be a close game. I mean, I think it could go either way. I do think that, given the fact they did beat them by 16 on, at Gladewater early in the year, they did have the big win last week on the road at Pottsboro. The loss to Mineola, they lost to Sabine, and at the time when Mount Vernon lost to Sabine, we were all kind of shaking our head. I'm going to go with Mount Vernon, but it's going to be a good game, I think, Corey. I mean, I'm with you. I think
didn't Gladewater dominate Sabine? They dominated Sabine. If the score was closer than what the game was
48,
really
42.
really.
I mean, that's not really
But
dominating.
they dominated the game. They stopped playing after a while. They dominated the game. You see that game.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe
they had like 4 or 5 takeaways.
Well,
they had 6 losses before they won a game.
we have our Mount Vernon guy, Derek, has said several times that they're real young. And I think that, it's taking them some time. And that would make sense. The early loss would be, they're trying to get some guys playing time. They're getting them in the right spots. Mm-hmm. And now maybe they found it. I mean, obviously they'd be a good Pottsboro team. That's a big win for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was told that the coach put them in a tough schedule early on to get them ready. And look at that schedule: Dangerfield, Mount Vernon, Malakoff, Gunner. Then you play Tatum.
I agree.
I think they're a lot better than the 3-7 record looks like. But
can you put too tough a schedule and demoralize your team?
You can. I don't think they did that here because of the way they finished.
I don't think you demoralize them. I don't. You as a coach, you know what your team is, right?
I just felt like maybe the game should have been closer between them and Jefferson. If the game had been closer between them and Jefferson, it'd be a little more easier for me to argue it. Because they played that tougher pre-district schedule. And then they get to a tough team like Jefferson and they get beat by 21. And it's like, I feel like that was the time to be ready. Yeah. I was like, I'm just saying that would have been the time to be ready to give me, if they, all right, so Atlanta, they won 28-20. If that would have been the score of the Jefferson game, I could see arguing it at this point. But I feel like Mount Vernon and Jefferson are on that level that they're just right below that, I think. That's just me. And I don't know these teams that well.
Right.
I don't know these teams that well, so that I'm just going off of that. That's all.
And I'm going to tell you what you're looking at. Same thing a lot of sports writers and people looking at. They're looking at the MV on that chest. Don't look at the MV on the chest. Okay? Look at the body of work. Look at the body. They lost to Mineola and they lost to Sabine. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Mineola and Sabine. They wanted to beat Sabine. They didn't play Mineola, but I guarantee they put them in a different game. Don't overlook this game. If you're Mount Vernon, you do not take this game lightly. This game is going to be like close.
I was willing to
Mount Version. Yeah,
I was willing to die on that center hill, so I respect you willing to die on this Gladewater hill. I'm cool with it. I don't agree with you, but I'm cool with it. I understand it. I respect.
That's cool. We agree to disagree.
All right.
We respect.
What we got next?
But it may be one of the better games of the week. Honestly, it could be one of the better games of the week.
Can't wait for that one.
All right. So Corey's the only Gladewater. Everybody else is going with Mount Vernon.
Go Bears.
All right. Let's send it over. Let's see what KO's got next for us.
Tatum and Commerce. This one right down the road at Lindell's Eagle Stadium on Friday night. Should be a good game as well. Tatum and Commerce. Tatum, they beat Jefferson to take the district lead and to win the district, but then lost to Atlanta to end out the season by 20 points. So I'm not sure what to think of this Tatum team. Lost to Center and Dangerfield and Lumberton. Those are 3 very good football teams. Atlanta made the playoffs as a 4 seed. I mean, I'm not impressed by that loss to Atlanta. But then you look at Commerce, they've struggled as well. I mean, they lost to Mount Vernon, Pottsboro, Winsboro, and the teams that they beat in the non-district to get a 5-0 record. It just aren't very impressive teams. I think maybe one of those made the playoffs, maybe 2. So it's got a toss-up kind of game. I'm going to take Tatum. I think they are more ready for the moment. So give me the Tatum Eagles.
All right. So KO goes with Tatum. We've talked about the schedule. Vince, I know you're ready to talk about this because we had the same discussion, I feel like, deja vu a year ago.
Like every time this comes back around, bro, and I just can't.
Let's talk about it.
I can't see picking Tatum. I just can't. And every time I say that, Tatum pulls something off.
So here we go. Here's their schedule. They start with Center, that basketball game on NetSN in week 1. We know they lost that one. They lost to Dangerfield. Dangerfield's a really good team. We know that. They beat West Rusk, who's come on as of late, and ended up winning the district
8-2 West Rusk. 8-2.
Lumberton, they lost to them. Lumberton, number one seed in their district. They're also on our pick 'em here down the line here in a minute. They beat Gladewater, which, Corey's high on Gladewater, then that's a good win for them. I mean, the Atlanta loss is weird. Now, I mean, they already basically had district wrapped up. Did they maybe rest some guys that were injured? Maybe, who knows? It's hard to say. I'm just going by what I see. Commerce's schedule, I mean, they didn't play anybody pre-district. I mean, it's pretty bad pre-district schedule. They got in, they didn't beat anybody any good in district. I mean, they beat Mineola. They're kind of up and down. They beat Rains, but they lost to the good team. So I just can't go against Tatum here. I'm going with Tatum. I think they played a tougher schedule. Minus the Atlanta game, I think they had a solid season. I mean, the losses they had were just tough ones. They scheduled themselves tough games, and I respect that. And so I'm going with Tatum in this one.
Well, here's the thing. I think you're right because, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, really the only three teams that they played good are Winsboro, Mount Vernon, and Pottsboro. Commerce, that's what I'm talking about. That's about it.
How'd they come out? How'd they come out in those games, Christian?
Oh, they came out pretty bad. Yeah, it was bad. I mean, 55, 38, and 34. I mean, and you only scored 7, 13, and 6. Like what is that? I mean, and look who you played in pre-district. You played Edgewood, they were kind of up and down.
No, they were down.
They played Leonard, who was
no up and down. They were down.
They did make the playoffs as a 4 seed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Their reward is they get to play Hook's first game.
Yep. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Yeah. But they played Edgewood, Leonard, Howie, and Howie's 0-5. Howie was 0-5 in their district. I mean, North Lamar 1-4. Boneham was 0-6. Like they're all they're not playing anybody. So really, they only played.
Christian, we talked about this a while ago. Remember the coach that put these cushy games in their schedule to make their record look really good, and then when you get to actually put games that are the ones you need to win, you're not ready. I think that's common.
So more likely you're gonna get punched in the mouth in the first or second round. So no, I'm going with Tatum.
So y'all hit on the schedule. Here's the thing: nobody they beat has a winning record on the year. Not one team. They played 3 teams with a winning record. They got blown out by 48, 25, and 28. Here's the thing about Tatum. You guys were talking about this, Vince and Brett. You saw Atlanta in person. It's not ever going to be surprising to me that Atlanta could beat somebody by 20. You saw the athletes they have. Now, they were trying to figure some things out, and they didn't look good against us, right? They didn't play well against us, but you saw them, and the potential was there.
Yeah, that's something to do with the Penguin defense, I think.
Well, expert D-line coaching, I can tell you that for sure. But Tatum's losses were to Center, Dangerfield, Lumberton, Atlanta. I mean, man, and technically 5-5, but they're calling this Pittsburgh game a loss, which was I guess a double forfeit because they didn't finish it the week of the weather or whatever. They blew out West Rusk, right? West Rusk is a team that we think is really good. They dominated them, right? They beat Sabine. They beat Jefferson, who we just talked about, on the road in a game that nobody gave them a chance to win. And people thought Jefferson was going to run Tatum out the field that night. I think Tatum, it's another case, Vince, that they're trying to sucker you in. You look at the record, you look at 5-5, it looks like they're down and out. I think they're going to win the game. And without looking at the road fully ahead of me, don't be surprised if we're talking about Tatum for a couple of weeks, truthfully.
My problem with Tatum.
Tatum third round?
I'd have to look at the bracket.
My problem with Tatum is that every time I put them on my board, they failed me. And then every time I picked against them,
that sounds like
failed me.
It sounds like pine tree. They're your pine tree.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got lucky a few times.
That
with
name
Pine Tree.
cannot be
I'll at least
spoken
say
in
that.
this.
I at least
forum
picked Pine Tree
today.
and they pulled out.
Hey,
They pulled
your
out
thought,
some
Corey.
wins once or twice. But I don't think I've ever gotten the Tatum pick right. I'm serious. Every time I pick them, they lose.
Well, then please pick Commerce because I don't want to lose this.
I don't want to lose.
Please.
So I wrote down Tatum. But man, if we get around to next week and Tatum lose,
and they lost, I'm coming after you.
Here's what I'm gonna tell you. If Tatum lose this game, I'm telling you, I'm saying it on this show, declaring it on the show. I will never pick them again. I just won't. I'll skip that game entirely.
Wow.
Christian, while we're sitting here talking, let me just say this. Yes, Tatum in the third round. They're going to win this one. They get the winner of Whitney and Grosbeck in the second round. And then it's going to be over because then they get Winsboro in the third round. So over.
Yeah.
But Tatum in the third round, I'll tell you right now, they're going to be there, third round.
Tatum and Winsboro.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I kind of listened when I saw the I forgot about what the bracket was because I had things to do yesterday. But when I guess when I saw it, I think that was Saturday. That was before I forgot all about it. I think I had them going to the fourth round. But no,
okay,
you said no. No.
Okay.
When you brought that up, I was like,
Corey, who you got?
I'm gonna make it quick. It's Tatum all the way. And I did have something to say about it. I forgot, but I do say this. I know we're looking at the schedules, and I hate to jump into that, but man, it's 0-0. Like everybody's in the playoffs.
You're right.
I kind of don't want to look at because I don't want to feed into that who they beat in week 2, who they beat in week.
You gotta look at something, right?
I don't have to look at anything. I look at how they play in the last few games. As I look at them last couple of games, let me know what I need to know. That district looks.
All games are not created equal.
Yeah, but teams get better.
Good point.
And how you playing this late in the season indicates a lot of good things for me. Because that team in week 1 is not the same. You mean to tell me Lindale is not a state ranked team?
I would be interested to hear if they may have
at least top 20
suffered an injury or something, or maybe they didn't play a couple of six. Well, no, you would have to play.
Lindale's.
I don't think. And this to me, that's what I wanted to say. Tatum losing against Atlanta, to me, I think it had more to them possibly resting guys and playing some JV guys.
Lindale may not make it out of the second round.
But Atlanta had to win the game too, right? Like Atlanta needed to win to get in. So good
point. Good point. That's why Jeremy's here. Yeah, because it could just be Atlanta just wanted it. Who's to say Commerce don't come into this game with that same emotion? Like, I want it more.
They're not.
You don't think so?
Go ahead, Vince. Change to Commerce. Go ahead.
Nope. I'm sticking with what I said. Tatum, you better do me right.
All right.
Come on.
Everyone's got Tatum in this one. So let's go. Let's see. Kyle, what do you got for us?
Brook Hill. Doesn't matter who they're playing. Give me Brook Hill. I'm going for the guard.
That was it. That's all I need. Doesn't matter who they're playing. He's going for the guard. Man, he must be trying to hook up to that Hubbard guy in the middle.
Have to
there.
get him a T-shirt or something. You know, man, a T-shirt.
Man, you better not, because I still hadn't got a T-shirt or a hat. I'm telling you what.
Brett, I got something just for you on Thursday, man. I got something just for you.
I drove to Houston, to Dallas, following the guard all over the place, and I've yet to get any kind of gear.
I got
and I've given this guy, I've given this guy a hat, I've given him 2 shirts. Man, you know what?
I got something special order for you. Special order for you. You're getting it Thursday night.
I sure hope so. I'm excited.
Man, it's a scary game.
It's a good thing that you've got some NetSN gear to go cover a game for NetSN.
Yeah, I do. Man, the game's scary, guys. It's scary, and here's why. We're talking about this beating teams twice in a year. I mean, we played them 6 weeks ago. They've made a quarterback change. Their best player was their receiver, and they decided what we all thought they should have done, was put him at quarterback and give him the ball every play. They're explosive.
Y'all made a quarterback change too.
We did. I love Cam Rowell, but he's not our best athlete. But yeah, we made a quarterback change. But any time you're playing a team that runs, jet power read or jet, and they got athletes in the backfield, it's scary, man. And so we're playing the same team twice, but we're really having a game plan for two different teams. We're having to look at what they did to us the first time and then what they've been doing the last few weeks. And that makes
is that an advantage though for your guys? Because now maybe y'all sold that they're not the same team and you're having to instead of it being a Arlington Grace Prep, maybe this is the second version of them and you're having to so it's like a refocus instead of, okay, we're just going to team the same way.
I tell you, the biggest refocusing factor for us has nothing to do with Grace Prep. It has to do with what happened last week. And, when you go on the road and you play a team that you should hammer and you have to beat them in overtime, that's, one of our players in my class today told me, he said, look, this team we're playing, they still ain't no good, coach, but we ain't going to come out flat Friday. And I thought, that's all I need to hear. Even though they may not respect them being better than what they were 6 weeks ago, the fact that they understand that last week happened because they weren't ready means we're going to be ready on Friday. And but it's still scary as a coach, man. Like we're having to completely revamp what we do. And I'll be honest, they probably got some better athletes than we do. They're getting the ball in their hands. We just hope we can scheme them out of it a little bit. I think we're better. I think we're the better team. We beat them by 20 and we probably left 3 touchdowns on the field when we played them last time, just doing some things that we don't do a lot. We fumbled the ball a few times, on bad snaps and handoffs. I mean, it's one thing for a defense to cause a fumble. It's another one for you to just not get the exchange right, And, it's thank goodness it's at home. But obviously I'm going to take us to win the game. But I think it'll be I hope it's not close, but I think it'll be a different looking game than when we played them before.
Yeah, I'm going with Brook Hill too. I mean, their D line is going to contain the quarterback. He's going to be running for his life. There's going to be some penguin dancing going on. I feel like that
he's gonna look like Russell Wilson without an offensive line.
So I should do a shredder. Sanders.
I just think that
no, we tried to chase him around. We did not succeed at that. I'm going to tell you.
I just think the last 2 games. I mean, you had a game which, all at case in point, it was a JV scrimmage that your varsity had to go attend, and that can get you out of focus. And then you had that one last week. I think the guys are going to refocus this week. It's playoff time, and they'll take care of business this week, and then maybe venture a little west the following week.
I hope so. I've always said this. You've heard me say it. You got to run the ball. You got to be able to stop the run. We ran it for about 3 bills last week, and we held them to about 90. And so, we'll be fine. Alexander Hutaniemi, Alexander the Great to you guys. I know you don't like saying that, but
great.
Hutaniemi had 5 tackles for loss and 3 sacks Friday night. Martinez gets a big pick in overtime to seal it, and Braxton Durrett ran for 204 touchdowns. I mean, it was a great night for us after the first, you look up 7 minutes in, you're down 14-0, you're playing catch up all night, and that's tough. But we'll see, man. I have a lot of respect for Grace Prep. They're a team that probably should have won the district. They let 2 games get away from them, and so it's really 1 seed and a 2 seed playing against each other potentially. But you got to play who you got to play. We'll deal with it.
All right, who you guys got?
Okay.
I'm
gonna go with Brook Hill. And Coach, hey, just for you, I'm gonna say this right now. Your team, who's the best? By the way, before I even answer, who's the best team in TAPS right now for y'all? Just for
I tell you, Dallas Christian's the best team in our division, and they're the best team in all of TAPS, probably all of TAPS.
That's Vince about Dallas Christian.
pretty good.
Just laugh.
Pretty good.
Hey,
watched that game a couple times.
Hey, they the truth. I know some of the kids belong somewhere else, but I ain't gonna say nothing.
Yeah, Alabama, Oklahoma.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Brook Hill.
All right,
I don't think I said that, but I'm gonna go with Brook Hill. I think Brook Hill is their defense, the Cannonball defense that we named it. I think it's absolutely dope up front. They get a lot of pressure, especially on 3rd downs and stuff like that, which really breaks down offenses. I question sometimes the offense itself, just being honest, being respectful. I do question the offense at times because I love, and I'm gonna say this, I love Durrett. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah.
Durrett? Yeah. Okay. I love Durrett and what he does and what he brings to the table. At quarterback, I like both quarterbacks for different reasons. And I think I mentioned this on the show when they played Dallas Christian. When I'm watching Cam, I can see Cam has a level of poise in that pocket that when the play breaks down, he don't panic.
Right.
He don't panic, and it's like he knows what to do. Either I'm getting it out of my hands or I'm getting out of here. You know, it's one or the other. With Jonah, I think Jonah has a big arm. I sometimes question the accuracy a little bit, but that can be improved, right? But he does have a big arm. My biggest question mark on him, though, will probably be the fact that when that play does break down, I can see him thinking.
Yeah.
And now it's time to react. It's time to move. It's time to do something. And you're sitting there, you're pausing for a second, that half a second it is to tell your feet to move, you know, and these people these are athletes. That half a second is enough for them to grab your jersey or whatever, you know. And so I like to see him throw, you know, and I would like to see Cam throw more, but you know, it's almost like, and I mentioned this against Dallas Christian, I would almost throw in a good little mix of both of them at times, you know, just to kind of mix it up. And so with that, I have to say, like, I don't know what y'all's game plan is offensively. I have no idea. So I'm just speculating.
I don't either. Do what you want.
You know, and sometimes I think I've said it on our live stream before. You know, when all this fell, just give Durrett the ball, man. Just give him the ball. You know, because he can average a good 3 to 4 yards per carry. You know, easily. So
Vincent,
the way he plays.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head. I think when Brook Hill's offense is clicking, then it's going to be a good night. You know, I've seen
it. Yeah. So that's what I'm getting at. If they offense is clicking, it's over. It's over. But if they come out a little sluggish, you know, I don't know what because that last game, like you said, they were supposed to roll them and they didn't. So I don't know what team may show up. You know more than I do. Like you said, you got the confirmation from the students.
That was on the defense last week. I'm going to be honest with you. That was on the defense, man. We couldn't cover that. They had a guy that, as good as the DC guys were, Noah Wheeler, McKinney Christian, led the nation in kickoff return for touchdowns last year. The dude's like a little water bug, man. You couldn't find him. And he had 10 catches for 210 yards. I mean, you know. So that was on us. That wasn't the offense's fault. We didn't give us a chance. But you're right. If our offense gets – and I'll be honest, I'm kind of cocky about this. You've heard me say this. Like, if you score 7 this week, our goal is to make sure we win. If you score 7, I mean,
I love it. I love that right there. I used to say that in high school all the time. It's like, man, all we got to do is put up 7. My defense gonna hold everybody else.
We got Osagi. Just get it to the 40-yard line one time. Let him drop a 40-yarder.
Absolutely.
And we don't care.
Absolutely. So yeah.
So
give me Brook Hill.
Somebody should make a T-shirt that said "Defense on me."
I can see Jeremy. I can see Jeremy in that huddle. I can see Jeremy in that huddle. We're gonna blitz all night.
Listen, man.
Defense on me.
Y'all want to laugh about this, but let me just tell you a story about before. I know Corey and hadn't picked yet, but so last week Alexander gets he got sacks on back-to-back plays, right? And it was at a time we were down 21-14. It was a big drive, and man, I went nuts, dude. Like, I lost my mind. I had an outer body experience, man. I was like, I was fist pumping and kicking. I don't know what I was doing, but I'm gonna tell you what I did. I threw my back into full spasm. It was right before the half. Listen, there's video. I know there is because the kids told me it's on Snapchat. But there's video. We went to the locker room at halftime, and I had to get the Theragun out, man. And I was straight on the whole halftime, 28 minutes of me massaging my back. My wife walked over. She goes, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Come here. You got to do this for a second. My arm's tired." So, yeah, my man Oots, he's not playing, right? So Oots is on the sideline during the third quarter, massaging my back while we're going.
Wow.
I report now. I'm glad I'm good to go for now. But man, y'all know, y'all seen it, man. I get pumped, and Alexander played the best game he's ever played defensively for us.
I told Corey watching the game one day, I said, "This is why I can't coach, man, because just watching these games get me too excited." I'm sweating, my blood pressure getting hot.
Hey, you missed it. we had CM in the booth with us. He finally got out for a football game, and I think he might have had a good time.
I heard y'all had a good time Friday
I
night.
definitely had a good time.
Yeah,
Definitely was a good time.
It was a good time.
Wasn't a good omen, but it's all right.
I think we needed to have us three up there at least once this year. You know,
we should definitely do that again. We have to get. Man, we'll say that for another conversation. However, I'm definitely picking Brook Hill. And Jeremy, you said it, just to be on the little serious side, you said it best. It kind of makes you nervous a little bit when you got your students or your players are like, oh, that team's not very good. Yeah, but it's 0-0. It's bulletin board material, especially if you beat a team before and then you got to play them again. As someone on the back end of that always makes the coach nervous. I got to play those guys again because that's when you go. They got good coaches too.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They prepare, they watch film. So obviously they got stuff they're working on. They got stuff. So it's almost like, hey guys, we're playing a brand new team. This is not the same team you played. This is a brand new team. Treat them like a brand new opponent. You don't know anything about them. Yep. From what we did. So I can empathize with this. That's a scary thing. It has a trap game asterisk on it. I didn't know that. I forgot this was on. I was like, I'm going Brook Hill. I'm like, man, this is that one of those games, like you said. This is one of those games that we're better than they are, but we have to play better than they do.
For sure.
So that's scary. That's a scary game. But if they come out mentally focused, I don't see a problem in the game at all.
Mm-hmm. All right, Kyle, what do you got next?
ARP and DCAB. Another good game. Should be a good one. ARP's.
We lost him again. Man,
wow.
Kyle, you're just having all kinds of technical issues tonight. That Kyle guy, man, he just can't get it together here. That's okay. We'll get him back
to Atlanta. But then a toss-up kind of game. I'm going to take Tatum. I think they are
not quite far enough there. Let's see if we can get him back. Come on, Kyle. All right, y'all go ahead. While I get Kyle going here, go ahead. We're gonna go with ARP and DCAB here. Man, this one's tough for me. I have a heart for our Nedison school, the ARP Tigers. But DCAB's impressive.
Very.
On their schedule, you just kind of look at their schedule and you're like, man, they've played a pretty tough schedule. ARP has played a good schedule.
Good wins now, but a win over Tenaha that just won a district championship.
Is that just popping in on its own?
ARP's kind of had an up and down season, but then you look at DCAB and they've lost to Harmony and Hooks, two really good teams, but their other wins they got a win over Tenaha. They kind of blew out Tenaha. This game, it's going to be interesting, man. I want ARP to win. I really do. But just looking at if you look at the common opponent, they beat Tenaha 64-28, whereas ARP beat Tenaha 36-35, and they played Tenaha back-to-back weeks. So it's not like they were getting completely different teams, one at the start of the year and one at the end of the year. Man, give me DCAB. Give me DCAB over ARP. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ARP. I'm sorry. But I think DCAB is going to do it. Lumberton.
All right. Well, he made some good points. You kind of got the common opponent of Tenaha there. Both of them beat Tenaha, but DCAB was
back weeks. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, you look at ARP's schedule and who they've played. They haven't really. The Tenaha is their best win. They've lost to Troop in West Ruskin District. They got third place. Carlisle, we thought that was a good win earlier, but Carlisle has not turned out to be Carlisle. They're not as good this season. They lost to Garrison. We know Garrison's good. The Joaquin one we thought was a good win, and Joaquin laid an egg this year. They weren't very good. So, here's the thing. I as much as I want ARP to win, I don't know. I just don't know if it's. I think they're improved. They made the playoffs. Congrats on a good season. I hope they win, but I got to go with DCAB. I think they're the better team.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with DCAB. It's hard for me to pick, but I'm gonna go with DCAB.
I got decaf, honestly. I didn't know about the Tenenhaw back-to-back weeks thing, but looking at that now, and then I know Corey was like, we can't just judge them based off of schedules, and you're right. But seeing as how I don't know a lot about both teams, I've seen ARP, obviously. I got to see ARP play. I think ARP is great. But Decav, they got just as far as schedule-wise, they both lost to great teams. Both of them. They lost to great teams, and then the common opponent in Tenenhaw and back-to-back weeks, they had a bigger win margin than ARP did, which makes me say, forget about what you saw. Decab is probably the better team. But man, because Brett, you was there. We saw what was the receiver?
Sorry, Sminky.
He don't want to hear it.
We're rooting for you this week, but we got Decab. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I can't even call that receiver's name that they had number 11, I think.
Zane Bork.
Bork, man, dude was crazy.
Yeah,
dude was crazy good, but I can't go with him this time. I hope y'all do advance, and that I'm wrong, but I gotta go with Decab.
Jeremy looks like he's in pain too. There.
Yeah, I got to be honest. This one's tough. Here's what I'm going to say. I don't. The Tenenhaw thing to me is irrelevant. Tenenhaw was not early on. Tenenhaw was not good, right? They're 8-2, whatever. Those are their two losses to these two teams, right? But if you look at early on, we all kind of question what Tenenhaw was going to be. Heck, I think even we doubted them last week. I wasn't on the show with you guys, but I think we even doubted them a little bit against Overton, right? Like, so we're not real sure what Tenenhaw is. So that kind of goes out the window. Here's what I'm going to say. Decab. The game that Decab had to win in their district was Hooks, and they played it 2 weeks ago, and they got beat by 34 points, right?
Okay.
The game that ARP had to win,
well, it could say West Rusk if you wanted.
West Rusk, and that didn't go well.
Neither one of them went well.
But 3 weeks ago, they played Troop and lost by a touchdown. Now, I think Hooks is a better team than Troop, but I don't think it's just night and day different. Right? Like, I don't think that Hooks is just so much better than Troop that you can't. My point is, when they had to win a game at the end of the year, neither one of them got it done. But ARP loses a game by a touchdown. Decab loses a game by 34 points. When I look at the schedules, I think, okay, we're going back to that. I know Corey's anti-schedule, but I think there's some value in who have you played and how do you get ready, right? They played a good Garrison team. I think Garrison is better than Hooks and Troop, right? And you lose the game, that's fine, whatever, but you get to play a good game. The Tenenhaw game, they're a good team now. West Rusk, whatever, Troop. But when you look at Decab, man, like
the Harmony one sticks out to me.
It does, right? Like, but that was early on, right?
They played on the road in Harmony and they lost by 17. I mean, and we just saw Harmony beat. It could be a different team, but early on in the season, they weren't injured. They had some injuries that came on mid-season.
But I look at it and I think, okay, Elysian Fields, 2-8. Tenenhaw's a great win. New Boston, 5-5, but they beat a bad Pewitt team, a bad Prairie Land team, a bad Chisholm team, a bad Redwater team. And it's such a toss-up. I'm going to go with the team that played in the better district. I'm going to go with ARP. I think ARP is probably more battle tested at this point. But listen, it is a complete coin flip to me. Honestly, I'm going with my gut here more than I am looking at the numbers. Even though I've just rattled off a bunch of numbers, I'm going with my gut. I think ARP wins the game.
Okay. And I'm gonna backdoor that because I was looking at the schedules, and I'm gonna say this. So ARP was, I don't know if y'all knew this or not, but the state of Texas, they did a thing with Texas football. ARP was a surprise team in Class 3, right? They all picked them to be a surprise team in Class 3A. So let me tell you something. ARP went 3-7 last year, and they flipped that and went 7-3 this year, right? Great improvement. Great improvement. They beat West Rusk last year. They lose against West Rusk this year. Weird, right? But guess who they beat twice? They beat Tenenhaw twice. They beat Tenaha last year. They beat Tenaha this year. I say that to say this. I think Smink Dog's on to something. I think he's got his football team playing the right football at the right time. This is going to be one of those games where you got to play above that level of competition. All right, guys, we're here in the playoffs. Let's make this. Let's just see how far we can go. Right, we're 0-0. You played a gauntlet of a schedule. You played against some very good football teams in this district. Let's see how far let's test the water. To me, I'm gonna say this is maybe a big bold statement. This is a program-defining run at this point. This is whether or not you can get the ears and the eyes of those young kids in that football program. You come out here and lay the hat on the cab. Probably a lot of people thinking they're underdogs in this program right now. You come out here and lay the wood on the cab 35-21, and you go on another way. Just keep winning. Just keep playing. This could change a lot for Art. Just throwing it out there. I'm picking Art.
Okay. All right, Kyle, who's next?
In Athens, not a real tough decision. Lumberton district champion. They got 3 losses to start the year, but they've won 7 in a row since then. They have a win over Tatum, excuse me, and then they beat Little Cypress Mauriceville a couple weeks ago for the district title, 24-7. Athens has had a weird year as well. They played Kilgore really tight and lost. Played Chapel Hill tight in the first half, still ended up losing, and then beat Palestine by a good bit, 21, I think. So I'm going with Lumberton, but I wouldn't be surprised if Athens pulls off the upset. But I'm taking Lumberton, and then Van and Spring.
All right. So he's going with Lumberton. Guys, I look at this, and I got to see a little bit of Athens when they played Chapel Hill. They played with them for a little bit. I know they're an improved team, but Lumberton's they're a playoff team that's been there before. I saw them play last year, and they gave Chapel Hill all they wanted. I know they lost some guys off that team, but they've got some guys back. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to go with Lumberton in a close one to get the only win from their district. I think 9-4A takes the other 3 playoff games.
I'm going to go ahead and take Lumberton. I think that right now Athens I like Athens' defense. I think that, when they play Kilgore, they play pretty well. But, then they got to Chapel Hill, and to be honest with you, let's talk about offensively. Offensively, I am concerned about them because, when I went to go call the game, when me and Keith Whitman went to go call the game that Saturday, look what they were calling when they needed to throw the ball. Yeah, they got 3-4 touchdowns through the air, but then when they needed to win, they were coming down to the point to where, we actually need to win this game, and slant routes and these little slant and 3 to 5 yard out routes, that's not going to work. And they were going for it on, and I know everybody was getting kind of sugar happy with, Chapel Hill, because, hey, they were number 1 and then they lose to Lindale, but then we're still going to get sugar happy with them because, they're a threat, right? So Athens just kind of just blew it up and was just we're just going to go for broke. And I thought that was just what they were doing against Chapel Hill. No, they've been doing that with their offense all year. Mostly they've been running the ball. But I just don't like their play calling when it comes to passing. And with that 3-4 defense that Lumberton has, I think that's what they run. I'm not sure. Or at least that's what I saw last year when they played Chapel Hill. With that 3-4 defense that they have, it's pretty good. It's not chopped liver. It's pretty good. So I'm gonna go with Lumberton.
All right.
I'm going with Athens. I'm just gonna be real.
I'm
going with Athens. I'm listen. Brett knows I speculated to what Athens had on that roster last year, and I think they started out the season real strong, but got in the district and just fell apart.
No, I think got you in trouble picking them, Vince.
Yeah, they did, but I mean they've pulled off some impressive wins, right? And even some of the losses are impressive. Because when you think about their first loss to Brownsboro, they lost by 1 point. Brownsboro went on to win the next 4 games after that. They went on the streak before they fell apart. They beat Rusk, and we think Rusk is a pretty good team. I'm not saying they great, but they're a good team, right?
Ask the Rusk alumni about that one.
Now, the Lindale game kind of threw me for a loop because I felt like they should have been able to put up more on Lindale. But this is also where Lindale started to figure themselves out a little bit. They started to figure out something. But they bounced back, got the win they needed against Henderson, and then gave Kilgore a scare, which Kilgore turned around and won district. And they gave them a scare. The closest game they played in their district, they lose to Chapel Hill, but that first half, they was up. And so I think when you think about the Chapel Hill game, I don't hold that against them. Chapel Hill got a lot of dogs. They got a lot of dogs. They got a lot of horses in that stable, man.
So
like even if you able to hold your ground in the first half, you better show up with something else in the second. And that's pretty much what happened to a lot of the Chapel Hill game, people who have played Chapel Hill over the year. Palestine, though, everybody was speculating this was a big game. Both teams need an end. This is a play-in game, right? And look what they did to Palestine, because everybody was thinking Palestine should have been that team that was gonna make it in, and they dropped 49 on them, So I think it's possible. I'm not saying that they better than Lumberton. I'm saying it's possible, and I believe in it. Athens.
So
I got an Athens shirt in there somewhere that Coach gave me a couple of years ago. I should have wore it on here.
So to quote you, Vince, you're gonna die on that Athens hill.
I'm gonna die on that hill, bro. Absolutely, you're right.
All right,
Let's
go
Athens.
ahead with a bunch of with a bunch of 3 to 5 yard.
My father-in-law still there. I can't go to the house. I can't go to the house and not pick Athens. My father-in-law still out there. So,
all right.
Bank is open. The bank is open. I'm watching this Lafayette, Louisiana Lafayette playing Youngstown State. I'm not picking Athens, so I'm picking Lumberton.
Hold up, Corey. What theory is this one? I thought you didn't pick against an East Texas team.
Yeah, but I just think it's a little disrespectful. Y'all know I still leave bad taste in my mouth. I watched Athens play a little bit. You don't punt the football on 4th and 7. Like who the heck? Who the ace do you think you are? This is not Madden. You know what I'm saying? No, you punt the football. I don't care what kind of mojo you think you got. You
Corey,
punt the football,
that was
bro.
2 weeks ago. You're still mad about that.
I'm still mad. That's
man, don't let that be. Don't let that.
No, you don't understand. No, you don't understand. That's disrespect. What are you saying? So you mean to tell me you still think you can get a first down this 4th and 7?
At your own
my
20.
defense?
They believe in it.
At your own 20? You know what? You know what? No, don't. That's disrespect. That's the ultimate sign of disrespect.
They believe in something. You can't see it, but they believe in it.
Listen.
No, it's not.
They did
you
that.
Can believe it all you want to. It's still disrespectful.
Listen, they did that because they didn't think that Chapel Hill's defense. I think Athens was.
That's what I'm saying. That's That's disrespectful. You don't do that.
Yeah, I think Athens was hooked on. Oh, so anybody can run the ball against Chapel Hill and wear them down like that? Oh, okay, we're gonna do that too. I think
I don't want to keep throwing Chapel Hill in there. I don't want to be that guy keep throwing Chapel Hill.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that's what.
I'm pretty sure they did the same thing to Kilgore. I'm pretty sure they did the same thing to Kilgore.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually this becomes a strategy.
So they're just throwing the disrespect to everywhere, then, Corey.
Yeah,
it ain't got
defense. No, okay.
It ain't got nothing to do with Chapel Hill. It's just that's what they were doing. That's just the way they play.
It is disrespectful. And you know what happens when you get disrespectful? You know what happens when you play against a team that don't allow disrespect? What happened? What happened when you grew up and you disrespected your parents, you disrespected somebody, and your parents finally got a hold of you? What happened?
Corey.
What happens?
You get taken to the woodshed.
You got spanking, did exactly what happened.
Don't feed into none of that nonsense.
Lumber. They're gonna lay the lumber.
Just letting you know.
They're gonna lay the lumber, Corey.
Hey!
The first time they don't punt, Lumberton coach is gonna be like Baker Mayfield when they played whatever the team was. He's like, okay. Even though I hate whoever he played for, I still like Baker Mayfield. He's like, okay.
Listen, speaking of lumber, I did hear that down in Lumberton, Texas, they do chop a lot of wood down there. So, yeah, that's nice.
I ain't worried about that. Let's go, Athens. Come on, Hornets.
After they lose too.
Let's go, Hornets.
Jeremy, who you got after all that? We got him all discombobulated there. He's confused now.
I'm glad I didn't go first. I've sat here and I've just talked myself into both sides here. So let me just tell you this. Lumberton last year, their quarterback, okay, my man, let me get his name right. Lucas
Brady
Powell.
Oh, sorry. That was Lucas, a receiver.
Lucas Powell threw for 3,200 yards and 45 touchdowns. You want to guess how many he's thrown this year?
How many?
18.
Well, he was injured for the first part of the season, I think.
Well, he played 9 games.
Oh, did he?
Okay. He played 9 games is what their own stats say. That he played 9 games. Now, obviously, we don't know how this went. It would make sense because of all the losses they've had this year, they lost to Nacogdoches.
Nacogdoches probably lost 6 straight after that.
No. I'll tell you what happened.
At least it wasn't that tree of pine.
But listen, I mean, not only did they lose, it was 28-6 until late in the game when Lumberton got 2 touchdowns. They got boat raced by the Dragons.
Nacogdoches wasn't bad though for a while.
They were 3-7, Corey.
Here we go.
3-7.
They just weren't consistent. Man.
It's an up and down program.
A bad team. Inconsistent.
It's an up and down program.
I don't think Athens. Gosh, Vince, I want to ride with you on this one, man. But
come on, man. Come on.
I want to ride with you on this.
Get on board. Let's go.
Vince is in a car.
I'm telling them to hold the train.
He's in a car with no driver. He's going off a cliff, Jeremy. Don't
I'm telling them to hold the train, man.
Okay, listen. So shout out to my man, Adam Davis. Y'all don't know Adam. Adam's family's from East Texas. He lives in Lumberton. His daughter's a senior soccer player, signed with McNeese. She's a great athlete. He and I were radio partners for 5 years in Kirbyville and Beaumont ISD. So a lot of love for Adam and what he's doing at Lumberton. Gosh.
And now you have to pick them because you just gave him a shout out. If you don't.
Yeah, what a jerk, huh?
You have to pick anybody. You straight.
Lumberton, listen, this is where I'm going to stop. I want to go with my gut here. My gut says go with Athens. My head says when the dust settles on Friday, Lumberton probably wins this game by 30 points. I'm going Lumberton. I got to do it.
There we go.
I want to pick them. Vince, you know that feeling when you wake up Saturday morning, you check the scores, you're like, damn, I knew I was wrong. That's the way I feel like it's
Yeah.
I guess that's a good pick. I mean, right now what I'm looking at, the state has Lumberton get into the 3rd round again. I got them going home next round. But depending on who they play, but I mean, whatever.
All right, KO. What's the last one?
I'm going with Lumberton, but I wouldn't be surprised if Athens pulls off the upset. But I'm taking Lumberton, and then Van and Spring Hill. Van, a couple of tough losses. A loss to Carthage that.
Oh, and he lost.
You don't have to play the rest.
Yeah, he went. He went with Van. I did preview that. So KO went with Van. Man, it's Van. I mean, there's not really an argument to me here. Spring Hill's a terrible team that just happened to be in a district with 2 really good teams, and everybody else was kind of. We talked about the district earlier. And everybody else was kind of trash. And congrats for Spring Hill making the playoffs. I mean, it's a great accomplishment for them. but I think Van wins by as many as they want here. I'm taking the Vandals to steal Spring Hill's hearts. They're going to vandalize them.
I got Van by 60. Okay,
Wow.
I got
Van by 60.
Wow.
You're being disrespectful.
No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
You're being disrespectful.
No, but I got Van whooping Spring Hill by probably a good 30, maybe 25 to 30 points, maybe. Listen, I just think that is, it's a good. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this to Spring Hill. You had a good, solid season. Okay, it was all right. It was all right. I'll give it to you. I'm not gonna hate on you like I do Pine Tree every single year.
No, they're no longer Pine Tree. They're the Tree of Pines.
It's still
That's lame. Don't
care.
talk about them like that.
Okay,
it's Shine Tree.
I'm not gonna.
Shine Tree.
Okay. Listen,
The Pine Forest.
I'm not gonna downright drag them through the mud like I do Pine Tree, but it was a beautiful season, Spring Hill, but it ends this week, so you're going home by like 30. So just be glad I wasn't serious about 60, because Van could easily put 60 up on y'all. We've already talked about how good their defense is. So yeah, let's go.
See, I think they got their quarterback back too. I think they did.
Yeah, the Moffitt is back.
So, I mean, in my opinion, I hate to say this about Pine Tree, because I mean Spring Hill. Y'all got me talking about Pine Tree now.
see, that's what happened Friday.
See what happened? Yeah. I hate to say this about Spring Hill, but because I love a good underdog story, and I would love to see them come out. But man, if you thought Gilmer and PG,
hey, you think Van's gonna be ticked off after getting beat by Bullard week 11?
Man, I know they finna come out on fire. Like what I'm saying. If you think Gilmer and PG did you wrong, wait till Van get a hold of you. Because Van and that defense, they don't play around. They get after the ball. They do. They aggressive and they mean. They ugly too. They ugly. Ain't everybody ugly in Van. That's just how they race. I was raised out there too. I know what I'm talking about.
You said everybody.
They big and ugly.
Everybody in Van is big and ugly. We need to get you to repeat that.
My dad gonna kill me. My dad was raised in Van.
Your dad? What about all them women in Van, Vince?
I think what you meant.
I'll just play, not the women. I'm talking about the men.
I think what you meant was they got a lot of big uglies up front, because Van's got a huge offensive line.
They do.
First football game I ever played in my life, 7th grade. Little Jeremy goes up to Van to play 7th grade football game. I swear the kid in front of me had a beard and had 3 kids. I was scared to death.
I mean,
just
listen.
For that reason, I'm going
Van,
with Van. Just for that reason, I got to go Van.
When we played Van last year, when I was with Chapel last year, when we went to Van last year, we were so content on just beating the heck out of them. We didn't realize, they actually have a 220-pound running back there, and they kind of have a big offensive line. But we're gonna blow them out anyway. You know what the score was at halftime? You know what the score was at halftime? It was 9-3. Van was winning 9-3. Okay, and we lost the game 23. We lost the game 23.
See, young man. See, you don't learn about being disrespectful. What I tell you about being disrespectful? See,
that's what happened.
You don't walk around disrespecting people.
Yeah,
walk around disrespecting people.
And they put their foot on your neck.
Yeah. Like when you beat people by 50 points in a game, they're going to come back and remember that. Even if it is the first game of the season.
I'm just saying.
Is that our last game?
Some girls team is running up the score on people. I won't give any coaches' names away, but just.
It wasn't on purpose, man. Corey, if you can't stop me from making a layup, whose fault is that?
Hey, listen,
I've been saying that. What do you want me to do? You want me to call the game?
It's different. It's different.
Go to the ref?
If you clear the whole bench, I'm telling you, it's different, Ambassador. You clear the whole bench, and the scrub that don't ever get a chance to play, everybody wants them to score a layup. They want them to make a shot or a layup. It don't matter. Come on now. That's different. Man.
Hey,
problem is I ain't got no scrubs. Anyway, go ahead.
Right. I was waiting for you to say that.
I feel you. I ain't got no scrubs. I don't know nothing about this.
Man. Well,
no, ain't no scrub this team. Everybody put up 20.
That's our pick'em games for this week for the bi-district round. Some good ones there.
Out the van, though.
Yep, we got a lot of good ones. Games start Thursday, so don't forget to get your picks in on Thursday, and that will you will lose some automatic games if you don't get those in Thursday. So we'll send that a reminder.
Games we didn't pick on here. Games didn't make it on this list.
Well, there was just there's so many this week. It's just by district. You have so many.
Yeah, it's a lot of good ones. It's gonna be a lot of good ones.
So a lot of good games. Try to make it out to some. I'm gonna be out of a couple this week. I know several of the guys, and we'll talk about that in the wrap up show this evening. We'll talk about where we're gonna be and what all games that NetSN's got. Yep, hoop season's right around the corner. It's coming.
Don't. I think it's like the national basketball anthem.
So the Power Plus Mouth Guard, the Beast from the East show. This was week 12, the bi-district round. So make sure everybody again get your picks in. If you want to get all your picks, evidently Kyle said he's going 10-0. So maybe you go with Kyle's picks. I don't know. I think
he must have picked what I picked.
I got to remember who I picked.
I got to bounce back from last week, so hopefully this will be a little bit better week this week.
How many did you have?
I was below 500 this week. I don't remember how bad.
I had 7. I went 7-3. So
it was bad.
I was at 500. I was at 500.
Well,
I was at 500. I still didn't pick Pine Tree.
We'll definitely talk about that tonight.
Yeah, we'll talk.
We got a lot to talk about tonight, don't we?
Listen, Corey,
I'm telling you something right now. If you don't watch this show tonight, if you do not watch this show, if you've never heard us talk about anything, we'll be down to we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. Pine Tree, you better what do they say, lock in and check in. Pine Tree better check in. Pine Tree better check in tonight. They better check in tonight. Okay.
The apology letter is in here. It's a couple sentences long.
Oh yeah, we forgot about the apology.
It's not Pine Tree, it's Shine Tree. Hashtag Shine Tree. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
I need to do it. I need to do it before the show starts. So, like right before we get into what we're going to discuss about last week, I need to do it before the show starts.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
bring out the binder. Bring out the notepad.
The weekly wrap-up show tonight, 8:30 p.m. We'll be back here to discuss the Week 11 chaos of games that happened this past week. There was a lot of upsets, a lot of crazy ones. I don't know what the kids were drinking, what was in the water, but it was something going on.
It was all sport. They don't even make it anymore. It's all sport.
All sport. That stuff was nasty.
Wow.
Yep.
For Corey, Vince, Jeremy, Christian, I'm Brett. We'll catch you next week right here on the weekly or the Beast from the
Surge.
East show.
Yeah.
Hey, good luck on your pick'ems this week, and y'all have a great weekend. See you tonight. Night, everybody.
Peace.